Hey guys, welcome to another Race PBR battle. This is just a match using one of my two doubles teams. I'd really like to kind of get another doubles team together, but I can't really think of any ideas. I mean, I wouldn't really like to do like a weather team. I'd like to do kind of something new, but I just keep thinking of trying to think of ideas, and then I'm thinking, hey, I don't actually have the time to put forward these ideas, and then I realize they're terrible and probably won't work. But so yeah, I plan to do a doubles team at some point, but don't expect one anytime soon. Well, regardless, the battle was against someone with an entirely Uber team and Ubers with items. So I was thinking this team's probably EV trained, and I'm gonna get completely destroyed. But normally in doubles matches you have a slightly better chance against Ubers. At least I find that to be the case, because you've got, helpful moves like fake out that can might put the match in favour to you, because not many Ubers learn things, like decent kind of support moves like that. But regardless, I start off the battle. Hitmonlee uses fake out on Mewtwo, and I use Swords Dance with Ursaring, as I wasn't quite sure what to expect. So fake out works obviously, and does a little bit of damage to Mewtwo, not a huge amount. Then his Deoxys uses Poison Jab. Poison Jab, firstly, weird thing. Secondly, critical hits. Thirdly, Hitmonlee gets poisoned. What the hell? Thank you, Luck. Thanks. But regardless, I use Swords Dance with Ursaring. His Mewtwo has leftovers, which kind of made me think maybe his team's EV trained Ubers, but they're EV trained in a weird different way. Like maybe it's a defensive Mewtwo, and that Deoxys is just got some weird moveset or something. I really wasn't quite sure, but it kept me thinking at least. What the hell it might be about. But regardless, after Hitmonlee dies to poison, I send out Mismagius, and I use Shadow Ball on Deoxys, and I use Crunch on Mewtwo. To be honest, that was a bit stupid, because I forgot that Facade actually does more damage than a super effective Crunch. In this case scenario, I mean, Facade will do more damage to pretty much everything that isn't a Ghost or a Steel type, but actually, and a Rock type, but anything that kind of resists normal. But his Mewtwo uses Protect, which I can't say I was expecting, and his Deoxys uses Taunt. I'm not quite sure why, considering most Mismagius are sweepers, but maybe he was expecting a support move or something. Well, I guess my Mismagius is a lot more defensive, but a Shadow Ball hits the Deoxys, and it does a fair bit of damage. Doesn't KO it though, because my Mismagius doesn't have any special attack EVs, even though Deoxys has ridiculously low defense. So next turn, I decide to finish off Deoxys with Mismagius, and then I use Facade on Mewtwo, just get out of the way. I was kind of hoping that Ursaring would outspeed at least one of them. It didn't seem like his Deoxys would be able to KO my Ursaring, which was good. But his Deoxys again uses Poison Jab, but uses it on Mismagius, which is obviously not very effective. Poison's not very effective against Ghost. That's always kind of weird type of matchups I find, but I guess because Ghosts aren't alive, that they can't be poisoned, so that's why it's not very effective. But I have no idea. But regardless, Facade takes down his Mewtwo, and Shadow Ball deals with his Deoxys, so that was great, as both his Pokemon went down this turn, and I was in a pretty damn good position because of it. So I was just left to wonder what his last two Pokemon might be. But what he sends out are Darkrai, which I was hoping wouldn't, spam Dark Void or anything, but thankfully I had Ursaring, who's already poisoned, which Dark Void wouldn't affect, and he sends out Giratina as well. So Mismagius can like do some damage to Giratina with Shadow Ball, and Ursaring, I just wanted to get rid of that Darkrai ASAP, just in case it did have Dark Void, and I was hoping Ursaring would be able to outspeed Darkrai because of, you know, quick feet and everything, but I was unsure if that would be the case. But Ursaring in fact does outspeed everything else and takes down Darkrai in one hit. I really do love Ursaring in this team. It does so amazingly well a lot of the time. Outspeeds so many common threats and like will murder anything with Facade after a Sword Stance. But his Giratina uses Aura Sphere on Ursaring, finally realizing the danger it would hold, and it does quite a lot of damage, and then I use Shadow Ball on his Giratina. Sadly, the poison finishes off Ursaring, because I clearly would have finished off his Giratina next turn, probably with Crunch, even though they are very defensive. But Mismagius restores some health with leftovers, but I send out my last Pokemon, which is Golduck, and he's just down to his Giratina, so I thought, you know, it's just pretty much a formality of cleaning up and getting rid of it. So I just use Shadow Ball, and with Golduck I use Blizzard on it. Blizzard hits, thankfully, thanks to the good old wide lens, probably. And it doesn't quite KO Giratina, which is really irritating. And then it uses bloody Shadow Force, which means it just prolongs the damn battle. Shadow Ball obviously misses because of Shadow Force, but like this turn I was thinking his Shadow Force was going for Mismagius, so there was no hope for it to survive. But meaning next turn I'd have to wait because for Golduck to finish off Giratina, so I decided to use Calm Mind with Golduck, just because, you know, there's nothing else I can do with any attack that's going to miss. It's not like I'm going to need the Calm Mind boost at this stage anyway. But Giratina actually uses Shadow Force on Golduck, which was very strange. Doesn't quite KO it, but does quite a lot of damage. So Mismagius finishes off the battle with Shadow Ball, and that was it. So yeah, it was weird. I don't know if my opponent's Ubers were EV trained. They kind of seemed like they weren't, but you don't normally get a team of Ubers with like a load of hold items, but you never know really. I guess you guys can tell me what your thoughts are in the comments or whatever, but I hope you enjoyed the battle. Comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time.